Edward W. Stanley was a North Carolina politician and orator who represented the southeastern portion of the state in the U.S. House for 5 terms. In 1857, Stanley ran for governor of California, but lost to John B. Weller. Politicians of the mid-19th century remarked that Stanley bore a strong physical resemblance to William H. Seward, though this resemblance lessened over time. Biography. Stanley was born in New Bern, North Carolina, on January 10, 1810. He was a son of U.S. Wader John Stanley of New Bern and a cousin of U.S. Senator George Edmund Badger. Stanley attended New Bern Academy and graduated from the American Literary, Scientific and Military Academy, Norwich University in 1829. He then studied law and was admitted to the bar in 1832. He settled in Beaufort County and began to practice law. 4 years later, he successfully ran for a seat in the United States House of Representatives on the Whig ticket. He served in the 25th, 26th and 27th Congresses from March 4, 1837 to March 3, 1843. Stanley earned his reputation as North Carolina's greatest orator of his generation during his first term in Congress. Throughout his service in Congress, Stanley was a leader of the Southerners who emphasized the Union over states' rights. He won the nickname the Conqueror during his re-election campaign of 1839. After an unsuccessful bid for re-election in 1843 due to unfavorable redistricting, Stanley returned to North Carolina, where he served as a member of the House of Commons from 1844 to 1846 and again in 1848. He was Speaker of the State House from 1844 to 1846, and his impartial presiding was hailed by commoners of both parties as returning dignity to the chamber in the place of the former political rancor. Stanley served briefly as Attorney General of North Carolina in 1847 to 1848. In 1849, Stanley was again elected to the U.S. House, serving 2 terms from March 4, 1849 to March 3, 1853. He declined to run for a 6th term in the elections of 1853 and instead moved to California and practiced law in San Francisco. He was the Republican Party's unsuccessful candidate for governor in 1857. Abraham Lincoln appointed Stanley military governor of eastern North Carolina with the rank of brigadier general on May 26, 1862. Stanley resigned this office less than a year later on March 2, 1863, in a dispute with President Lincoln over the Emancipation Proclamation. He returned to California and resumed his law practice. He died in San Francisco on July 12, 1872. He is buried in the Stanley family plot at Mountain View Cemetery in Oakland, California. Stanley had a very colorful nephew who fought on the Confederate side during the Civil War, Brigadier General Lewis Armistead. Armistead led the Boys in Gray at Pickett's charge during the Battle of Gettysburg. Stanley and Armistead were born in the same house in New Bern, North Carolina. The home stands today, a pilgrimage stop for both the blue and the gray.